is my front yard right now.
It wasn't until the sun came up the next morning.
Okay, we have to get out right now. Do you have a vehicle?
That we realized what had happened.
So October 8th, I knew there was a lot of activity taking place in the city. There was a lot of fires that were occurring.
So Santa Rosa is from 6 o'clock in the evening till midnight. We had 20 reported vegetation fires and 10 reported structure fires. You know, it was just kind of a strange, strange part of the night for me. I drove over Fountain Grove and I could see a glow way out in the distance. And it's like, all right, well, there's a fire out there.
I started noticing sheriff's vehicles with their lights and sirens on heading down the hill. And I just kept driving up and got pretty far up into the hills and then hit a wall of fire.
It's smoky and the wind's blowing. So, I contacted our dispatch center and said, just give me as many people as you can. We're headed up to Fountain Grove. We've got to start evacuating people.
And when they said it jumped the freeway and was coming our way, they said you have to evacuate. And we had no idea what was happening. The wind was howling, things were crashing into the house.
One of our neighbors, she came sprinting around the corner, was like, it jumped the 101, it's on fire. It jumped the 101.
Before I knew it, the fire was already starting to spot in and around homes as people were literally trying to get out. I remember people asking me, do we really need to leave like right now, as there was spot fires literally starting in their front yards. I just told them, yes, just get in your car and go and get out now.
I called my wife, I said, hey, you need to get out of the house, there's a fire coming. She looked out of our bay window, saw the fire coming at our house, and then the cell towers went down.
All my guys that were up there, we just started hitting every house that we could.
Oh, we gotta get out of here, man.
This is the Santa Rosa Police Department. There's a fire coming your way. You guys need to leave now.
Knocking on doors, hitting the sirens, spotlights, everything we could.
Just get in. We don't have time for shoes.
Because a lot of the houses that we were going to were already on fire.
What's that? Are all of us accounted for? I think so.
For a second, I debated whether I should go back inside and turn off the garage light. That's how sure I was that it wasn't going to get to us.
We didn't think we were going to come back to nothing.
It just came in way faster than anyone anticipated and went way deeper than we ever thought it would go.
And we could see the fire was just taking homes coming down on top of us.
You're literally writing off dozens of homes at a time because there's no way to stop. I keep saying it's 5 miles of fire coming at us, with 60, 70 mile an hour winds.
I remember seeing fire on both sides of the freeway into the Journey's End Mobile Home Park, and then drove north out of the city limits, and then saw my entire neighborhood engulfed in fire. I lost my house the night of the fire.
It wasn't until the sun came up the next morning that we realized what had happened.
We expected the whole city was going to burn with the news coming in. And in the morning when light came, when dawn hit, we could see just a black smear going across out to the ocean.
I think the initial number I heard was 500 to 600 people missing, and I thought, oh, that is not good. Fortunately, it wasn't anywhere near that number, but we lost 24 people in our fire.
In Santa Rosa, we lost 3,000 houses. We lost a couple of hotels. We lost a mobile home park. 2 other mobile home parks were damaged. Just a huge amount of damage in a very small space.
CAL FIRE brought in a Type 1 incident management team, and we were up and running until October 27th. This started on October 8th. So it was a long duration event.
This was a fire that was directly impacting, a heavily populated area in the Napa Valley. And our priority typically is to put out the fire, but really our priority on that type of an incident is human life and to get people out of harm's way as soon as possible.
We had people here from all over the Bay Area, north of us, south of us, a couple hundred officers for every 12-hour shift just to patrol the evacuated areas.
The whole area was under National Guard emergency, and we came in the day of the fire, right at about 7 o'clock in the morning. We decided we couldn't wait anymore.
Well, I think part of your brain, even though the fire was right there, part of you thinks we'll be back. And almost everybody I've talked to has said that, because a whole subdivision doesn't just burn down. That doesn't happen.
But so we drove in, and it was still pretty chaotic, and we saw that our house was gone and just turned around and left.
I mean, it was Armageddon. My wife's father was killed in Iraq, and we had his uniform, his dog tags, his flag, some Memorial Challenge coins. We were able to find a good deal of it. It's all messed up and burnt and ruined, but we have it.
Kind of a weird feeling knowing that just my position and several others of us that are within our agency that lost their homes also. I left in my uniform and my work truck, so literally it was kind of a weird feeling to realize that you lost everything except a pair of socks and boxer briefs. But like literally, literally everything is gone. I was wearing that uniform for a long time.
My wife tried to get out with the kids and actually got stuck at the Marquette Springs Lodge, which is at the base of our hill. We're in a pretty rural area. Ended up sheltering in place there as the fire blew over. The cell towers went down. I didn't talk to her again until 8:03 in the morning.
The number that I've heard for the North Bay fires, which we're a part of, was $10 billion in financial loss. Most of that, about 2/3 of that, was in Santa Rosa. Meanwhile, we have a city of 180,000 people here, most of whom didn't lose their homes in the fire. We need to do our job every day. In addition to the recovery, we need to actually have a functioning city.
When you decimate a community like what happened in Sonoma County and Santa Rosa, that is a huge loss to the community, and it's hard for the community to bounce back. And people that are rebuilding their homes, they're not contractors. They got other jobs, they got families, they got lives. They bought their house, they didn't build their house. Now they're building their house.
It's hard to talk about, but it's like you didn't deserve this. Well, what did I do for this? And it makes you realize how tiny one person is in the scope of things. You really are in awe of how much power you're the ant on the sidewalk, and here comes the shoe. But we lived through it.
We see one neighbor because he had another home behind that didn't burn, so we see him. But other people, it's just occasionally, you'll run into somebody, and that's hard.
I've handed keys to people moving back into a house that was rebuilt several times now. They're ecstatic getting back into not their house, but a new house where their house once stood. But there are a lot of empty lots out there.
Well, that's the biggest thing, is try to get as many of our neighbors to rebuild as possible. I mean, we're going to lose some. We have already lost some.
We just turned in our papers today for our permits. We just turned in our plan. So like a week and a half, we should have our permit, and we can go with our foundation and everything.
Close an inspection within the next several weeks, and on target for completion by middle of November. Hopefully early November. I turned 40 on October 30th, so I'm kind of hoping to make this like a housewarming / 40th birthday party.
We have a compacted building pad So,
Yeah, I never thought I'd be so excited over flat dirt in my life. But
there are a lot of empty lots out there. There are a lot of for sale signs out there. About 10% of folks have put their lots up for sale. They're going somewhere else. Maybe it's another house in Santa Rosa. Maybe it's somewhere else. As you talk to the school board president, and people have moved away.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.